I love what Jen Fred does with the show. She's an absolute master, so I'll do my best to kind of keep up with what she does, but I'm just so impressed with her, and it's an honor to be able to be here today as we cover everything that's happening live, locally, across our states, across the nation, and across the world. We got so much to talk about. We're talking about movies. We're talking about weekend events here. We're talking about the first day of spring. We're also talking about the weather across the country, and let's get started with our weather. Here's a live look across Philadelphia. First and foremost, you see the bottom right there? We're doing a check of the roads for you. That is the Vine Street Expressway that takes you from 76, which is right there on the left part, over to 95, and it is crawling. I was just caught on that because I was coming in from Montgomery County and Berks County a little bit earlier today, but you saw all those blue skies, and the weekend, almost perfect. You saw me go like that for a reason. It's almost perfect. Some rain is on the way for later today, but most of the day is great. And I gotta tell you, it's finally starting to warm up. This morning when I was live in Boyertown and Berks County for Good Day Philadelphia, it was cold. Listen, look what I had. I had the winter coat. I had to dress for winter this morning, even though it is the first day of spring. Well, look what's gonna happen by the end of the weekend. You see that 70 on the board right there, looking so good as we look towards Sunday's temperature. So we're making progress here. Now, the clouds are going to move in later this afternoon because some rain is on the way for dinner time. Let's take a look at that on future clouds and future radar. I want to help you plan. So there is that dinner time rain, and it's wet. You'll want the umbrella if you got plans this evening. It's not sticking around too long. Now, I put it in super slow motion so we can look hour by hour here to kind of give you a feel. So there's dinner time. It's moving in. It's over Philadelphia by 7 o'clock. We still got it in Philly through 9, 10 o'clock. And then it's off the Jersey coast by midnight. And that is it for the rain, but that is not it for the clouds. So take a look at the big setup here. First of all, we see where the rain's coming from. It's out to our west. You see that blue thing with the teeth? So I teach some classes in meteorology, and we talk about cold fronts, and I call those things teeth. Yeah, I know they're arrows in real life, but I'm just trying to help the students remember it. And the teeth are going to bite us here. So the temperature goes down a little bit tomorrow. Today our high is 65. Tomorrow it's 60 because of the teeth, the cold front. So that rain's moving in with the cold front. That's why it's a little cooler on your Saturday. But behind that cold front, you see how it's dry? You don't see a whole lot of clouds in the Midwest, like in Michigan or out in Minnesota there. Yeah, you get the bigger picture, like how quiet it is in Iowa. I'm pretty good around the map. It's almost like I know my 50 states. So that dry weather moves in, and it is a beautiful Saturday with lots of sun. Now, Sunday starts really sunny, but then things change. And let me show you the weekend forecast again. I want to give you that play-by-play of the 3-day forecast. And I just want to show you how Sunday starts out nice and sunny, but then things change in the afternoon. Clouds move in because eventually we get some rain late Sunday night and first thing Monday morning. So when folks are going back to school, going back to work, that's when we got some rain moving in. You know, the Philadelphia schools, they're closed today. There is Eid. Now, I don't know what the reason why they're closed. Maybe it's an in-service or something like that, but it is a holy day for some folks today, and a good portion of schools are closed, so some people getting a long weekend with that, and overall, our weekend weather really good. Looking so forward to those temperatures in the 70s on your Sunday. Bring in that spring weather, and by the way, if you didn't see, it is officially spring. It started at 10:46 this morning. So that's our weekend weather. That's what's happening here in terms of what's outside your door. Let's see what's happening around the country. I want to get started with something that's happening right now because that's our goal here of Fox Local Philadelphia. We want to show you that all the things that are happening, and I'm going to dip into a conference right after this. We'll see you on the other side in just 2 minutes as we continue to be live right here on Philadelphia Live. back live on Fox Local Philadelphia, covering everything that's happening live in our region and across the nation. And we've been keeping an eye in D.C. You know, this time of the day, there's usually a lot going on out of D.C. A lot of things this week have been focused on the hearings for the potential of the new Homeland Secretary. We're talking about Senator Markwayne Mullin. So he had been in hearings throughout the week. It's anticipated that next week there will be a vote for him. He got advanced to the voting stage, so we'll keep an eye on that. And Jen, Fred, and Bill Anderson will be keeping an eye on that on Fox Local Philadelphia's Philadelphia Live next week. We were just looking at the White House just a moment ago, and a little earlier today, President Trump was given an award, his Commander-in-Chief Award, and I'll tell you why. It has to do with some football. You know how big football is in America. You know how big NFL is. Well, this wasn't an NFL game. It was a college game. You know that rivalry. We're talking about the Army and the Navy. And this year, the Navy took it. So they were getting their accommodations from the Commander-in-Chief. And that's what was happening earlier today in Washington, D.C. And that's one of the things that we saw that was happening. So those are a couple of things that we're watching this hour. Let me show you a couple of other things that we've been noticing. Take a look at this.
With 6 minutes and 37 seconds left on the clock, other teams might have kicked an easy field goal, but that's not this coach. Coach, did you ever call? Did you call up the superintendent and talk to him like, what do I do? Or did you just say, let's go for it? I think you said go. I think you just go for it, right, Coach? But not this team with this coach, with the Commander-in-Chief's trophy on the line, which is a big deal. Blake dropped back in the pocket, surveyed the field, delivered a strike across the middle to Eli for a touchdown, and secured victory over Army in one of the most iconic moments in Navy football history. I wouldn't say in Army football history. I guess it was iconic also, but not quite in the same manner. But I watched that. That was incredible. The annual Army-Navy game is truly one of the most special occasions in all of sports, but in recent years, the college football playoff expansion has encroached on this sacred 4-hour time slot traditionally reserved for Army, Navy. So what did I do? I went out. I don't know if I could have pulled it off. I have much more power in my second term, don't you think? What do you think? Would you say, Brendan? Much more power. First term, I don't know if I could have gotten away with this, but what did I do? I went out and said, I'm going to sign an executive order to ensure that the second Saturday in December is preserved exclusively. Nobody's playing football. Not Ohio State against Notre Dame. Not LSU against Alabama. Nobody's going to play football for 4 hours during that very special time of the year in December. It's preserved forever for the Army-Navy game. Now, if you don't want to watch football, you don't have to. But if you want to watch football, you're only watching one game. You're not watching 19 different games, all of them in many ways big. So, Coach, that puts a little pressure because the whole world's going to be watching. So nobody else is going to be allowed. Of course, we'll probably get sued at some point. We always get sued. But we win those suits, and we'll win this one. The only game that's going to be played, so we preserve that time, no matter who it is. You're playing the Army-Navy game. It keeps it special. We like it, right? Are you okay with it? Huh? And just simply, we don't want other college football games over, playing over us. And frankly, I'd always watch the Army-Navy game anyway, but you don't know. You get some of these games, they're pretty tough, and pretty good, and they're pretty tough. And they'll be able to play, but they'll play after 7 o'clock, I think. We brought it all the way up to 7 o'clock, so that should give you plenty of time, even if you have a little overtime stuff. So it's great. It's just an honor to do because it's such an important tradition of our country. It's beyond football, actually. It's a tradition of our country. In 2 short months, the 28 seniors on this team will be commissioned as officers in the greatest military the world has ever seen. We have the greatest military in the world, the strongest, the greatest, and we're proving that when you can take Venezuela in a matter of minutes, put somebody on a helicopter that was well guarded with thousands of people with iron doors. Those doors were like plastic. the United States Navy, the Marines, the whole military. We have the greatest in the world. I was so proud of what I did, and I always loved Space Force because that was my baby. That has never happened. That hasn't happened in 81 years, a new force, and it hadn't happened. And I think we all agree that Space Force has become, you think, right, very important to the success that we're having even now. Over the past few weeks, the world has seen the true strength and might of our sailors and aviators as they fought in one of the most complex and successful military operations of all time against the Iranian regime. And it's amazing. It's not, I don't want to get too crazy here. Not a contest. It's not even a contest. They do whatever they want. They had a lot of great equipment. Russian equipment, Chinese equipment, they had plenty of money. That equipment was useless against us, useless. No force on earth can beat the American sailors or the American military. We're the strongest in the world by far. To those standing behind me who will soon be joining these missions, I say, sail fast, stay strong, and go Navy. And I just want to congratulate again this incredible team on the win of this trophy. It's not often that this trophy gets presented. You have to have a very special year to get it. And I'm going to sign the executive order right now and then invite Coach Newberry up to say a few words and talk about what a great team and what great individuals they are. So, Coach, I'll sign and then you take over, okay? Thank you very much. This is not an auto pen. Imagine taking it and say, would you please have this signed? Somehow, I don't know how they got by that. It didn't work. Let's go. All right, it's a good one. We rate them. That's close to a 10, maybe a 10. See, fellas, you can see it first. That's pretty good, right?
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for signing that executive order, protecting the sanctity of the Army-Navy game. It's a game with a soul, and it deserves to be protected. Thank you very much. Thank you to you and your staff, your gracious hospitality, and for making today's ceremony possible. Thank you to the distinguished guests and everyone in attendance for being here to recognize this team and this exceptional group of young men. On behalf of our players, our staff and their families, our superintendent, General Michael Book-Schulte, and our athletic director, Michael Kelly, it is truly an honor to be here. We're grateful and humbled to be back again. As I shared last year, it's been our goal to return to this stage many times during your tenure, Mr. President. There's no higher honor in our program than standing here representing the Naval Academy, the entire brigade of midshipmen, the Brotherhood, and all the men and women who serve and have served in our Navy and Marine Corps. These young men understand that wearing the Navy uniform comes with a responsibility greater than football. Each day they strive to live up to the core values of honor, courage, and commitment, and the standards of those who came before them. Leaders of character who have gone on to serve our country with distinction. What they accomplished this season is a direct result of that ethos and mindset. The players here on stage and to my left in the audience are some of the very best our country has to offer. In just a little over 2 months, these 28 seniors standing behind me will graduate and commission as officers in our Navy and Marine Corps under your command, Mr. President. They will do so with character, discipline, and the values that define this institution. I also want to recognize our fellow service academies, the United States Army and the United States Air Force. The rivalry we share is among the greatest traditions in college football, but it is grounded in deep and enduring respect, because we know that one day many of these young men may stand shoulder to shoulder in defense of our nation. The Commander-in-Chief's trophy represents the commitment, discipline, teamwork.
Yeah, so there you have it. A little bit earlier ago, President Donald Trump signing an executive order to protect the second Saturday in December for the Army-Navy game to make sure it happens for years to come. And you saw some of the winners right there in the background looking so proud right there. It's always a big rivalry every year, and we heard some words before that from the president. That is a check at what's happening in D.C. just a short time ago. Can we bring it back here to home? It is the first day of spring, so I'm looking around the city skyline. I'm squinting to see if I see any trees. You know, my question is, when are we going to get some clothes on these trees? When are we going to see leaves? When are we going to see buds? Oh, we got the answer for you on that one. We're going up the road from that picture in Philadelphia to Morris Arboretum. We're doing that right after this, right here on Fox Local Philadelphia. This is Philadelphia Live. And we are live. We call it Philadelphia Live for a reason, because we are covering everything that's live across our region, across the city, across the nation, across the world. Can we just take you to Delco for just a minute? Oh my goodness, big week at Delco. All the St. Patrick's Day celebrations just days ago. Now it's the first day of spring. So I'm looking at the trees right there. We're looking in downtown Media, and those trees sure look a little bare. Can we get some leaves? Can we just get some buds on them? I want to see flowers on the trees. But my question is when? And we got a great guest for you here. Claire is with us from the Morris Arboretum. Can you help me out? What do you think? When are we going to start seeing some things on the trees? I mean, it's spring. I wanted to see it today. And yeah, so you know, she's trying to hear us right now, but you can see in the background, she's lucky at the Arboretum. They're already starting to see some of the trees start to bloom right there, some of the flowers. You know, I noticed in parts of Philadelphia that some of the trees are blooming. And part of that has to do with the temperatures in Philadelphia. So there's a lot of concrete in Philadelphia, and that holds on to heat. So generally, Philadelphia ends up being a little bit warmer, and that allows the trees to bloom a little faster in the city. So as I walk around the city, that's one of the things that I notice. And here's what's cool about the Morris Arboretum happening today. they're going to do extra hours from 4 to 7 p.m. to honor the first day of spring, and we're going to cover it right here on Fox Local Philadelphia. I'm heading there for our 3:30 weather and science show. So Scott Williams will be back here at the station. I'll be live at Morris Arboretum, and it's pretty far north in Philadelphia. It's about as far north as you can go. It's not too far from Conshohocken in Montgomery County to kind of give you a feel of where it is. You know, it's a little bit of a ride down from there. And I'm looking forward to learning from them and also seeing what's happening, because you know what else is right around the corner? Next weekend, already next weekend, it's the Cherry Blossom Festival right here in Philadelphia. And I'm thinking here, are you telling me in a week we're going to see the cherry blossoms? So I was talking with the folks at the Cherry Blossom Festival because I asked, could we come down? So I'm kind of curious. Do you think they have special trees so that they're blossoming now? Or do cherry blossoms just blossom this early? And so that's one of the things I'm going to ask the arborists at Morris Arboretum coming up on our 3:30 weather and science show. And we'll certainly try to check back with Clara in just a few minutes. Well, that is the latest right here. Let's take a 2-minute time out. I can't wait to see you on the other side right here on Philadelphia Live on Fox Local Philadelphia.
All right, 2 minutes.
Maintenance is on the way.
Right now, there it is at me. And you know, I was checking out some different places around the region. I want to see where there are trees. Well, we jiggled the earbud for Clara, and you see a tree right there as we look toward the lighthouse. This is Cape May. I never went up in that lighthouse, but I've been at the park and I've looked at the lighthouse, and there's a certain time of the year when the sun sets, it shines right through where the light is. It's pretty cool if you hit it just right. I want to say it was later. I want to say it was like September where I saw it happen. So anyway, we're looking for some more leaves, some more buds. It looks like it's budding right there. Clara, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Hi.
Good. Excellent. Yeah, hey, I can't believe that those trees behind you are so well bloomed. Is that abnormal or is that typical for this time of the year for that particular species?
Very typical. This is a dogwood, one of the first signs of spring here at Morris. This dogwood was planted in the 1950s. She's pretty
I think we're
big,
having
as
a little
you
trouble
can
here.
see.
Oh, you guys here in the booth, are we able to hear Clara out on the airwaves? Okay, I just can't hear you. Clara, I can't hear you in my ear, so what we're going to do is I'll ask you a question, it's all yours, and I'll just pivot, so I won't be able to hear you on the other side. You know, that's the fun of a show like this. We just roll with what we got. So sorry to interrupt you and everyone else on that awesome explanation there. Hey, can you walk me through some of the signs of spring, where we see some of the blooms first, and what we can expect at Morris Arboretum, and what can we expect here over the next couple weeks?
Absolutely. Well, today is the first day of spring, and if you have some time after work, we're open until 7 with our last entry at 6:30. So if you have some time, come on out. You'll see some dogwoods. You will see some little buds on our magnolias. They're not blooming yet, and some little buds on our cherries. They'll start to bloom in April, but you'll also see some um, tulips being planted and some daffodils popping up. It's a really great time to start celebrating spring.
Yeah, it sure is. So here's the old school tech we're doing. So we turn my mic down when you're talking, and then we put a speaker on just so I can hear you. So crew, I appreciate you making it happen. That's interesting about dogwoods, how they're some of the first to go, and I love dogwoods. I love the flowers when you start seeing them. And I just want to ask you a question. How'd you get into what you do? Is it your love of nature? Did you have an experience when you were a kid? What got you connected to nature and the trees?
Absolutely. As a kid, my parents took me to a little place in New York for like winter nature camps. And that's really where I started really loving nature in the winter, not the spring. So we had a year-round camp that started in winter and went to winter. And ever since then, I've just loved nature. I'm the assistant director of youth education, so I also love teaching the kids and the next generation how to steward our environment for the generation after that.
That one, I think that's perfect to pass down our knowledge to the younger generation, and generations of all ages too, because I want to learn. I'm looking so forward to coming out with you guys to be there live for Fox local Philadelphia's Weather and Science Show, Fox Weather Philly. I'm sticking around for the 4 o'clock news, and we'll be on Fox Weather a little bit too. And I love that it was winter that got you excited about the trees. And you know what's really cool? Geologists love winter. Why? It's so much easier to find the rocks. You don't have all the green stuff covering the rocks and everything. So for scientists, it turns out they like the winter, where most people are like, we miss the scenery, What are some of your favorite things around the Arboretum to look forward to as we head into spring and head into some of those programs that you guys are going to be doing?
Yeah, awesome. Next weekend, we actually have our Signs of Spring tour. So there'll be another week of blooming and budding, and you can have a guided experience with an experienced volunteer docent who knows all about these signs of springs, can teach you how to use your eyes to see these small things. And then upcoming in May, America is turning 250 years old, and we'll have some programming about plants from the colonial era starting in May. That's May 22nd.
And I'll tell you what, you got to appreciate the champion trees that we have in this area. I know we have champion oak trees, and for someone watching that doesn't know that special distinguishment of being called a champion tree, talk about what that means, especially in the context of commemorating 250 years in America. It's pretty special if you get called a champion tree.
Yes, I will say that I'm not a total tree expert, but I have remembered what our tree experts told me. A champion tree has to be a certain diameter around, a certain height, and in some cases, a certain age. We do have a chestnut. Was, I think they cored it, and it was pre-1776.
Wow.
So older than America. It's really cool.
Wow. Just think about the history, right? That some of the trees around here are older. Hey, I'm sorry to put you on the spot right there. I could have jumped in and said, I taught at West University, and they have a champion oak tree there. And it goes back to what you said. It's one of those ones that are super old. They've been here in some cases before the country officially got started, at least on paper. We were here, and the indigenous folks were here way long before them. But it's cool. And then, folks try to preserve these trees that have lasted for hundreds of years. In West University, they'll put a lightning rod on it because they don't want, the tallest object, right? It's easy to get lightning on it. They don't want lightning to take out trees. So I just think that's so interesting. And I love what you guys are doing for the community around the Arboretum there. And I can't wait to come down and see the signs of spring because, out where I live in Westchester, I'm not seeing what you're seeing right out there. And it's cool to know that certain trees and varieties of plants bloom sooner. And I'm excited for the tulips that are soon on the way. And I've been seeing the daffodils right here near the station. They're pretty close to popping.
Nice.
Well,
we do have some tulip displays that people can see in a couple of weeks.
And I look forward to that. And some people have already seen the tulips in parts of, well, I shouldn't say tulips, but the daffodils in parts of Delaware County. You know, remember last February, they were coming up in February, but this February,
Right.
they were under snow. Hey, I really enjoyed learning for you. I'm sorry for a little bit of the audio stuff in the earbuds. Thanks for rolling
Not a
the
problem.
punches with us. And I can't wait to come down and see you guys at 3:30 this afternoon right here on Fox Local Philadelphia. Have a great rest of your day.
See you soon.
Appreciate that. And appreciate all of you for making us part of your day, giving Jen Fred your time. She appreciates it. And I'm humbled that you let me have a little bit of your time today. We'll see you on the other side of this. This is Fox Local Philadelphia. This is Philadelphia Live, where we're covering everything that's happening right now. We want to take you to different spots. We're going to take you live to Doylestown, where there's a bit of a breeze right there. And pretty much right underneath this camera is where we have our own Ellen Kaloje covering something that's been ongoing in Bucks County. Ellen, get me up to date on your story today and why you're at the courthouse.
Yeah, hey Drew, hey everyone. So this is the story that has made national news. The 5 Quakertown students who walked out for an ICE protest on February 20th, they were all arrested. Well, today they and their attorneys were at a hearing. The biggest story that came out of this is that one of the students, the felony charges against him, a 16-year-old sophomore at Quakertown, those charges have been dropped in exchange for probation. Now, the others, 4 of the 5 defendants in this case, their cases have been continued. We're waiting for another hearing at 1:30 for the 5th student, but that's the biggest thing that's happening right now. This case has stirred up so much controversy. People upset about what happened to the kids, people upset with the police, or people, defending the police, because what happened was, as you may remember, the police chief allegedly showed up in plain clothes. That's actually on video. He showed up in plain clothes and allegedly put one of these students in a chokehold. He's on paid leave. So many emotions surrounding this case. But we will be here for the 1:30 hearing for the 5th student. And then at 3:30, there is a demonstration right here outside the courthouse for people to show up with gift cards, money, and words of encouragement they're asking for these 5 students. So that's the latest. We're going to get back inside the courtroom, inside the courthouse, and we'll have the very latest for you guys later coming up at the 4, 5, and 6 o'clock news. Drew?
Ellen, I really appreciate you getting us up to date on that case and where it stands now. And if I could ask, continuance, that just means for some of the students, they're going to continue the legal process at a later date. Is that how it works?
Yes, great question. That means that they have not, it wasn't happening today, that they will continue it and at a later date, and they have not come up with the time yet, the day for that next court hearing to happen.
Got it. Okay, yeah, a lot of people have opinions on this, so I'll be really curious to see what you have, any reactions from anyone, and see maybe perhaps what that protest looks like. A lot of different parts to this and a lot of different thoughts, so I look forward to your coverage on the later editions of Fox Local Philadelphia. Hey, I know you had to run out of the courtroom. Thanks for making some time for us today, okay?
All right, thank you, Drew.
Okay, good to see you, Ellen. Always appreciated seeing Ellen. Always have such a nice time with her. I see her a lot weekend mornings. She'll come in and fill in for one of our reporters. We always talk in the makeup room, and it's always great to see her. Let me show you some of the other things that we're covering live this afternoon as we take you to different things happening across our world. So take a look at this right now just to kind of get you a feel for what we're covering. Well, as we get to that, something else I'm excited for this weekend is a brand new movie that just came out. And the weather. I mean, the weather's not going to make you want to go to the movies on Sunday, but it's a little chillier on Saturday. And Saturday will be a great movie day. And I had the opportunity to see the new space movie that just came out. It's called Project Hail Mary. No, I guess Hail Mary. I was thinking Hal, like, you remember, what was it? Was it Space Odyssey? Anyone here remember the name of that movie where it was Hal was the villain?
Space Odyssey.
All right.
2001.
Gene and Jake on it. Space Odyssey 2001. I remember watching that when I was a kid. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I was in high school at Henderson High School in Chester County, or if it was Pierce Middle School. But anyway, in the movie Project Hail Mary, it's pretty neat. We have a local connection. I got something to show you right here. I have the t-shirt from the movie. Now, this is not the t-shirt that was worn by Ryan Gosling, because the movie's main actor is Ryan Gosling. But in the movie, he wears the t-shirt that looks just like this. And I want you to take a look right in front. This is an album cover. And this album cover is designed by a local artist by the name of Perry Shaw. And it's really cool. So what happened with this is the makeup artist for Ryan Gosling for the movie Project Hail Mary is a fan of our local artist, Perry Shaw. I got connected with him on my weekend 10 a.m. show, Talking Up a Storm, that airs right here on Fox Local Philadelphia. And he told me the story because in the preview, you see Ryan Gosling wearing this t-shirt. So the artist was talking about his album covers, and Ryan Gosling liked the art because in the movie, he wears kind of more retro sort of stuff. So he looked through all the album covers that Perry designs. He has even designed an album cover for Green Day, which is pretty cool. And we love that. And so anyway, Ryan Gosling looked through this. He said, I love this. They talked to the movie studio. They talked to the band. They said, can we make this in a t-shirt? And yeah, he wears this in the movie. Coming up a little bit later, I'll have my movie review for you and the review of some of my Penn State students. But first, now let's get back to something that's happening right now. I want to show you this, and we're going to walk through it on the other side.
All right, 2 minutes. We're heading to bait. Ready.
so pumped to talk some weather because, you know, it's the weather guy in me. I had the coolest opportunity. I got to go up to Fox Weather, which is located in New York. They cover weather nationally. It's a 24/7 weather channel that you can watch right here on the Fox Local Philadelphia app. So if you got it on your smart TV, if you're watching on your cell phone, you have access to Fox Weather, where you have top-notch meteorologists covering the weather live. It's also on our website at fox29.com. Click on weather, you'll see the live stream. Well, we got Bain in the house today. Bain, I got to see you. I got to sit in on a meeting with you, and it was great to see you in person, and it's great to see you right here today on Fox Weather. What's up?
Drew, I always love chatting with you
Same.
via, TV or in person. It was amazing when you came up to New York. It was so much fun. But I mean, weather-wise, over the past couple of days, especially over towards Hawaii, a lot going on, I'd say. I mean, looking at our top three, the big three with Fox Weather is like what we like to call it. We have a ton of flooding going on throughout the islands of Hawaii. Also, the Pineapple Express impacting the Northwest. And of course, Drew, we got to talk about the heat that's also impacting the Southwest. A lot to get through for the next couple of days for a lot of folks throughout the country.
No, it's so interesting. You think it's the first day of summer in parts of the Southwest, not the first day of spring. Now, I will say this. Around here, we all say it in the Northeast and definitely in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. Spring showers bring May flowers, and it sounds like we're going to get the flowers a little sooner out west, particularly in Hawaii. And then what you were talking about, the Pineapple Express, talking about that moisture that starts in Hawaii and heads over to the West Coast. So get us some of the context of things that you guys are covering today on Fox Weather. Can we talk about Hawaii?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's going on in Hawaii is terrifying, honestly. I mean, they're dealing with so much rain over the past couple of days. I mean, this is some of those videos coming out of Hawaii at this point. And, Honolulu County right now has been dealing with so much rain. In the past 24 hours, we've seen spots picking up over a foot. Now, also on top of this, we've also seen so much rain in the past couple of days. I mean, there's been areas that have picked up now nearly 2 feet of rain within the past week. So catastrophic flooding occurring right now. This is for Oahu County. That's going to be over into Honolulu. This is Oahu Island for Honolulu County. This is going to be observed flash flooding emergency going on. This is going to be in play for the next couple of hours too. So keeping a very close eye on what's going on over into the islands of Hawaii. It's not done yet. More rain continues on. We do have reports of roads flooding away, roads completely flooded, homes under water at this point. So a very scary situation over there, and it's still going to be continuing as we get further into the rest of this weekend too. So we're watching out for this, especially over the next 24 hours. Folks in these parts of this island need to be on high alert. It's a scary situation. There are some spots on Hawaii that are also unable to get to at this point. So there are some folks that are in need of some serious help. It's a scary situation over in Hawaii, Drew.
Right, you see that when some of the roads get washed out, and part of the reason for that is it's the terrain. We forget how mountainous Hawaii is. It's a chain of islands, but they're islands because they're volcanoes. When the volcano's not going off, it's a big object right there. So when you have a lot of rain, it's coming down right there and has the power to wash things like roads out. I remember when that major hurricane, Hurricane Maria, came to Puerto Rico, and there was so much rain, and they couldn't get to communities for days. And, our heart goes out to anyone that has to deal with that and, those adverse conditions of things you're not used to. Listen, it doesn't rain that much in Hawaii. We think tropical, but it doesn't rain like this,
No, exactly. And this thing is Hawaii. Tiny islands, out in the Pacific. And the fact that we're seeing all of this moisture being headed into this one specific zone is scary. And so that's what we're dealing with, so much rain at once, days on end. They were dealing with that Kona low just a couple days ago, and now we have this filtering in of more moisture. It's been a tough go of things for them over there. So we're keeping a very close eye on this situation. We have a ways to go with this, though.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned Kona. Kona is known for coffee. Other things that Hawaii's known for, pineapples. Now, I've been to Disneyland, not Disney World, but Disneyland, and they had those pineapple soft serve that was really tasty. A local gas station chain around here, Bain, sells them. Sheets. It's a rivalry to Wawa, which we like our gas stations in the Philly area. They sell at some of them that pineapple treat, and it got me thinking about it because you were mentioning the Pineapple Express, of how moisture goes from that Hawaii area, basically takes a 5-hour flight and comes over to the West Coast, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's exactly what a Pineapple Express is. It's all of this moisture being filtered in up to the Pacific Northwest And that's exactly what's going on. We have some of that flooding threat still going on, just consistent rain. They've been dealing with rain for a couple of days now, plenty of moisture out there. Now, specifically in the parts of Seattle, that's where we have that main flooding threat going on. The good news is they get a little bit of a break this weekend, but the moisture will still continue on into next week. Thankfully, they get that nice little break because it has been quite a few days where we've been watching out for just consistent rain throughout the Northwest. So we do have flood watches in play through the rest of the day today, as well as a couple of those flood warnings are going to be along I-5 as well throughout Washington. So on top of this too, the terrain, the mountains, beautiful, but when we have a lot of rain coming into these areas, it can cause a lot of flooding issues too. So once again, a situation we're keeping an eye on. On top of this as well, I mean, the snow that they've gotten, a lot of it is starting to melt as of right now from all of this rain, those warmer temperatures also. I mean, already looking into Pigtail Peak, I mean, look at the snow melt. I mean, already 42 inches of snow gone like that.
Yeah, and it makes sense because you're melting that, and then all that water's coming down the mountain, leading to flooding. But on the flip side of that, and before we leave that, I got to just point out, we were talking about pineapples, we were talking about ice cream and stuff. I think when I think about the Pacific Northwest in Oregon, where it's drier today, Tillamook's out of there. It's a famous ice cream. They have it at our local Walmarts around here. I like getting one of the berry flavors. Just because we're talking here, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Ooh, now I'm really hungry, Drew.
I know,
okay.
Right?
Michigan, they have this ice cream. It's called Superman. I don't
know
know what's
about
in it, but it's a bunch of different colors. You know about it?
I
Have
do.
you heard
I know
of it?
all about it. It's a Midwest specialty. It's out of Michigan. So first of all, there's Blue Moon. And Blue Moon, to some people, tastes like Fruity Pebbles, but it's actually almond flavor. Like if you ever had marzipan, and you'll see this Blue Moon in Michigan, in Minnesota. So that's in Scooperman. And then cherries are big in northern Michigan, so they have some Traverse City cherry in there, and they have vanilla, and they call it Scooperman because it looks like his cape, the yellow, the red, the blue. Such a great ice cream. And by the way, they sell that here at Walmart. It's from Hudsonville, is one of many people that make it around Michigan, but it went national. So people have the same taste you do.
You know what, Drew? You're teaching me something. I didn't even know what was in it. I just liked it. I just thought it was delicious, and I've always seen it around in Michigan because that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And now I have to go down to Philly because I have to go get this ice cream. I've been craving it lately, especially with
It's
these
in
warmer
Walmart.
temperatures in the Southwest.
Go check in Walmart. They're going to have
see?
it. And
Okay, now
it's
I know.
Totally there. I got you covered. Hey, so yeah, sorry to make you hungry, man. I love ice cream, clearly. But I was thinking about ice cream just because it's so hot right now in parts of the Southwest. What's the play-by-play out there? I know there's a big ridge setting up, just allow the heat to come on up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the heat is turning up. The thing is, when you think Southwest, you may be thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, this is a warm part of the country. Why is this so special? Well, these temperatures, they don't normally see them until summertime, midsummer. I spent a lot of time at Arizona State. That's where I went to school. And when we have triple digits, people don't go outside. This is a dangerous, dangerous heat. And it's going to last a couple of days. What you're looking at right now is Baker, California. We actually have our Brandy Campbell out there for us today, reporting live from this heat. And what you're looking at is the tallest thermometer in the country. You know this place, yeah. 134 feet tall. And you have, oh my gosh, it's on my bucket list here, Drew. I want to go to it. But it's so cool because the reason it's so tall, the 134 feet, is because that's the hottest temperature that we've recorded in the world, I believe. This was back in the 1900s.
Wow.
So that hot temperature was recorded in Death Valley. I mean, incredibly warm temperatures. Look at this number, Drew.
Yeah.
823 record highs already since Wednesday. It's incredible how intense this heat has been. And it's hard to break some records in the Southwest. Again, they're known for this heat. And the fact that we're breaking so many, it's pretty impactful.
And you had it right on the graphic, the word historic. So yeah, Bakersfield's not too far from Route 66, and it's not like Mercury or something in there. It's digital. So it's a large thing, and it's digital where they write it, but it's still really cool. And between you and me, there's not a whole lot to see out there. So you go out of your way to go check it out when you're out in those desert areas. Uh-oh, I'm here to get yelled at for someone who's from Cali. So Bain, I enjoyed talking with you so much today.
Drew, this was amazing. This was so fun.
All right. Oh, the pressure's on that I'm calling out Bakersfield being a little sleepy. Hey, I'm going to see your colleagues on Fox Weather coming up at 2:15 from right in front of Independence Hall. I look forward to telling you guys about our weather a little later this afternoon. Thanks for having me on Fox Weather. Appreciate you guys.
Of course, Drew. And I think me and you were chatting later on this afternoon as well. 4
I can't
o'clock,
wait.
I think.
Yeah, we're going to be at the Arboretum. We had a guest from Morris Arboretum talking about what's in bloom, so I'm going to show you some of the things already in bloom in the Philadelphia area because the Arboretum is in Philly.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait, Drew. I always love chatting with you.
Same. All right, I'll see you at 4:15 on Fox Weather. Right now, I want to take us to Delaware County. That's where we have a press conference happening live in Darby Township. So let's listen in and hear exactly what's going on.
How did you close in on him? Was it a tip, or how did you zero in on him so quickly?
Well, we chased video, and that's what our officers do. We had one of my officers took it upon himself to chase video, and he chased video all the way into the city. And then, at some point, you get to the point where we hit a wall sometimes. But this time we didn't hit a wall. We just kept pushing. We found video, and perseverance pays off, and teamwork.
Did
So
you get a tip?
Anything happening with that reward? Money?
Well, I'll let the senator touch on the reward. So I'm going to turn it over to the mayor and the senator because I know they have remarks.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We are here today because obviously of the incident that took place earlier this week in our community. A crossing guard, someone whose job is to protect our kids, to protect our school children, was attacked while doing her job right outside of a school. This happened in the middle of the day with kids nearby. It's completely unacceptable. It is unacceptable. There's no excuse for that. First I want to definitely take the opportunity to thank our phenomenal job to thank our police department for the phenomenal job they've done. Our Darby Borough Police Department, led by Chief Joe Gabes. I mean, they were up many nights. As he just said, this incident happened on Friday, and it happened on Monday, and it's Friday, and we have him in custody already. So they've done a fantastic job. They were fast and professional working on this, and I also want to definitely thank our Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Tanner Rouse, my good friend Philadelphia's Mayor Sherelle Parker and her police department, led by Commissioner Kevin Bethel, for their help in this efforts as well. I also like to thank the U.S. Marshals for all the work that they did. Because of this work, this collaboration of law enforcement, state, local, and federal, because of this collaboration, this dangerous individual has been taken off our street very quickly too. This is what real government looks like. This is what collaboration looks like. They all worked together. They protected our community, and they brought justice. Our police officers, along with my administration, we've been out in the neighborhoods. Just yesterday, we were out knocking on doors, talking to the residents, and making it clear that we are here for them. Every parent in Darby, they should feel comfortable sending their kids to school. The residents themselves, they should feel safe in their neighborhoods. And I can assure you, you are safe in your neighborhood. This is my responsibility as your mayor, and we're going to deliver on that. I want to be very clear. As I've said before, just yesterday I said this in our council meeting as well. We will not tolerate crime in Darby Borough. If you commit a crime here in Darby, you will be caught and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Under my leadership, we will not tolerate any kind of violence in Darby, whether it's physical, it's mental, it's whatever it may be. If you commit a crime in Darby, you will be caught and you will be prosecuted. Simple. Simple as that. So as I've said before, whoever this individual was, we was going to get you. I told you that just yesterday. And 24 hours later, we've gotten you. And this is a message to any other individual that think they could come to Darby and disturb the peace that our residents enjoy. We will catch you and we will prosecute you. We're going to work every single day to continue to make sure that our residents feel safe, that they are secured, and justice is served. Darby is a very strong community. It's a close-knit community. We all know each other in this community. And so that's why this incident, this is why it was so important that we got to the solution. This is why it was so important that we brought this young man to justice. Because if that happened to that particular crossing guard, who's to say it won't happen to me tomorrow? And because we've got him, I'm sure the other criminals out there that may think they could get away with something like this, I'm sure this message is going to reach them. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. It's not going to happen. There's a new mayor in town that is not going to stand for it. We will do every single thing we can to make sure our residents are protected. And so I'm going to say it one more time. If you commit a crime in Darby, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Thank you. Mr. Senator, thank you so much for your help in this too as well, and for offering this reward. I'm sure, you know, you're going to cough up that $5,000 soon.
So, you know, we have a chant. It's called EAGLES, Eagles, right?
Right.
I'm not going to spell police and community today, but let me tell you something. We won. It goes not to just that individual, but to community folks who are worried, who've called my office every single day to find out what's going on, how we're approaching this process. So let me start with the most obvious. Yay to the police department of Darby. Yay to the federal government for its participation. Yay to every layer in between on law enforcement that did their jobs to the highest level. They did not treat this person, these people in this community, as if they were second to President of the United States. They were a priority, and we made them a priority. And most importantly, folks who are concerned about law enforcement, who may on occasion say we don't want cops, be very clear. That is not our message. Our message is we want these type of cops, these type of law enforcement people in our community who are concerned about all of our safety. So one, we won today. We won. Second of all, I want to say this, and apparently I owe somebody money, $5,000. I want to thank the press.
So there you go. You know, the power of when you put out a reward for some information and you heard that owes him some money. One of the things I thought was really unique that the mayor of Darby said was this is what collaboration looks like. He talked about from federal to local, and I just thought that was an interesting note out of Darby, not Darby Township. Darby Township's down the line. So Darby, by the way, I was looking up, I thought this was very interesting. Every week they do a free food giveaway on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. This is the Darby Borough, and it's just something they do for the community. And some other things that are neat coming up. Next door to Darby is Sharon Hill, and they always do a big Easter celebration. The Easter Bunny will be in Sherry Hill in Delaware County, not Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Sharon Hill. It's next to Darby, next to the Darby Borough, and it's the day before Easter in the morning. The Easter Bunny comes, he dances with the kids, he's got all sorts of good stuff. And as we head to break right here, I'm going to button up a little thing out in California. I was checking my geography. So the world's largest thermometer, it's not in Bakersfield, which is actually a pretty big city. It's in Baker, that's in the middle of a desert. I'm telling you, there was nothing out there. It's kind of right up there. Down there's Route 66. So that is this hour. Can't wait to see what trouble I get into next hour. This is Fox Local Philadelphia. We are Philadelphia Live, and we will be right back. live right here on Fox Local Philadelphia, and I can't wait to show you a live look of Philadelphia. And we do that for a reason, because we're going to be checking in with one of the neat museums around our city. We have so many incredible museums. One of them in University City is Penn Museum, and I bet you have a guess where the Penn Museum is. Well, that would be at the University of Pennsylvania, which we all call Penn. Hey, looks like we got someone from the museum in the house. It's great to see you.
Hello.
Hey, so I'm really excited for the event you guys have happening this weekend, because, you know, sometimes they're like, what should we do this weekend? There's nothing going on. Oh, you guys got something going on this weekend that's unique, and we get to learn when we come to you this weekend. Give us the lay of the land.
Basically, Penn Museum is a place where a lot of humanity and a lot of archaeology and anthropology of the world has been shared. This particular event is a culmination of bringing communities together under one roof to celebrate the Festival of Colors called Holi. This particular festival is happening tomorrow, the 21st of March, between 11 and 4 p.m. at the museum. As part of the museum, we're also expanding, we have bazaar, we also have music concert from youth ensemble from suburbs of Philadelphia called Samudra. We have the, color making, painting, we have storytelling, and also classical Indian dance presented by Sri Aksha. It's basically bringing community together to celebrate Holi in Penn Museum.
Oh yeah, tell me more about the holiday itself, because there's actually a lot of holy holidays happening. So first of all, we got Eid going on, and then I want to learn more about this because I'm not as connected. So tell me more about the holiday itself.
So Holi is a celebration of finishing of the winter and beginning of spring. So basically, the spring is celebrated in 2 days in the month of March. The idea here is to bring people under one roof and enjoy, bring love, and bring color, and have everybody come out and celebrate with throwing of powders, throwing of these watercolors, and we're also adding color bombs to the whole festivities.
You had me at color bombs. I mean, listen, you were talking about music and traditional dancing. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was in college at Penn State, I took a Bollywood movie class. And can I tell you how much fun I had? If anyone watching has not seen a Bollywood movie, you want to talk about fun. And a lot of our local movie theaters, like, for example, the one in King of Prussia, and movie theaters throughout our communities, in fact, in parts of Chester County, the movie theater out there in Downingtown, they play Bollywood movies. And not only is there dancing there, and it's a lot of fun, but the fact that we can see dancing this weekend at the Penn Museum. You're talking color bombs, you're talking watercolors, the colors of the spring, you're talking all the music. You got to be so excited for this.
Absolutely. This is an event that brings in complete community under one roof.
Mm-hmm.
The tickets are just $23 for everybody, which includes all the cultural activities, as well as taking part in bazaar, or be it the new initiatives that we are doing, that is the Egyptian watercolor and also the native North American gallery. So this is just one fun thing that's happening at the Penn Museum this weekend.
And it's cool. It's almost like we get to go take a trip. We get to go to India, we get to go to Egypt. You mentioned that exhibit, without leaving Philadelphia. So when someone says, there's nothing to do here, what have we got to do this weekend? Oh, you can go on a trip without leaving Philadelphia. What a great event. Hey, real quick, what are the hours tomorrow for that?
Oh, so activities are starting between 11 and 4. And the last part, don't forget, that's the 4 to 5, where the whole community comes out in the garden area, where we will be playing Holi with throwing colors, color bombs, and then watercolors. So
I got to tell you,
a lot of fun activities.
Absolutely. When I watch you talk, I can just see the pride. I mean, you are lit up and you are so excited for this. And I can tell you just want to share this with our community, don't you?
Absolutely.
I love it. Hey, thanks for making some time for us today. Pretty good deal, $23 to get color bombed, have some fun painting and music, learn about cultures, learn about holidays, go on a trip without leaving Philly. Sign me up. appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Really good stuff. Oh man, I enjoyed learning about all of that. That is fun, right? You gotta love that. Hey, now let me tell you about the weather a little bit this weekend because we got some good stuff going on. You know what the day is you want to go to the museum? Oh, that would be the colder day. And when's the event happening? Oh, the colder day. That would be on Saturday. So here's what's going on. It's actually really warmed up nicely from earlier this morning. And we got a cold front coming through with some rain at dinner time later today. And that's why it's a little cooler tomorrow, but it is sunny. Sunday starts out really sunny, gets cloudy in the afternoon. We get some rain later in the night, but Sunday's temperature in the 70s, that's your day to be outside and enjoy spring now that it's officially spring. Here's what we're following this hour. Can't wait to show you the different things. Let's take a look at this right here as we take a live look around the region. We're showing right here not only the weather map to give you the context for the weekend and that cold front, but we're covering everything that's happening live this hour, and that's what Philadelphia Live is about. We want to show you what's happening in our communities, what's happening across the nation, what's happening across the world. Let's see what's happening this hour. And we're going right here to Washington, and this is the Senate floor. You know, it was a busy week in the Senate committees where they were looking at potentially advancing the senator from Ohio. That was Mark Wayne Mullen. Well, they did pass him along. Next week, it's anticipated that there will be a large Senate vote on whether or not he'll be confirmed as the next Homeland Security Secretary. But in the meantime, I want to listen in on what's happening on the floor of the Senate right now. Let's listen in.
Saddam Hussein was swept aside quickly, and then they started looking for weapons of mass destruction and found none. None. And here we go again. A $200 billion first appropriation for this war. $200 billion. Just a portion of that money had been saved for health insurance premiums, helping people pay them in the United States. Some 24 million Americans wouldn't be facing a dramatic increase that they can't afford in their health insurance premiums. $200 billion is what President Trump is asking for. It's time for us to have that debate we didn't have before the invasion. Madam President, I yield the floor.
Madam President.
Senator from Washington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, we are negotiating right now over much-needed reforms for ICE and Border Patrol. The reality, which I think we do all understand, is that we are still very far apart. But as negotiations continue, Democrats have tried again and again to get paychecks to TSA and CISA and the Coast Guard and FEMA, agencies that are doing really important work right now. In fact, we have tried 9 times to get those paychecks moving, both a full-year CR, which Republicans have blocked multiple times now, and after those were rejected, targeted efforts such as the repeated attempts we have made to try and pay TSA workers. The only reason these workers are going without pay right now is because Republicans are holding their funding hostage so they can try to give ICE even more money without including any necessary reforms. That is what the bill Republicans have once again teed up for a vote would do. So Republicans are saying, we will not let you give TSA or other important agencies a single dollar unless you let us shovel billions of dollars to ICE and Border Patrol, which are already sitting on billions of dollars. Think about how absurd that is. Republicans won't let us give more funding to TSA, which can't pay its employees right now, unless they can give more money to ICE and Border Patrol, even when Republicans know ICE officers are still getting paychecks, because Republicans know Border Patrol agents are getting paychecks. They know they already shoveled billions of dollars at these agencies in their big ugly bill. Secretary Noem went out and blew hundreds of millions of dollars to cut ridiculous ads and plaster her face all over TV. She blew hundreds of millions on new private jets. ICE wasted millions on souped-up SUVs with flashy paint jobs, and they can't even use them. So what ICE and Border Patrol need is not more money. What they need is accountability. Democrats have been very clear what we are asking for here since late January, and our asks have not changed. We are talking about incredibly basic, necessary reforms. Taking off masks, requiring body cameras and IDs is not some extreme thing. Requiring judicial warrants is not some extreme thing. It actually is the same procedure local police use, and we need these reforms because they directly respond to the abuses that have been happening. You know, with warrants, you won't have a random American citizen getting dragged out of their car on their way to a doctor's appointment. With warrants, you don't have so much profiling, where ICE and Border Patrol haul the same American citizen away from his work site twice, not charged with a crime, not part of a targeted action, just hauled away by masked thugs. With warrants, you don't have so many cases of mistaken identity, where ICE drags a man out of his house in his underwear and even refuses to look at his ID. Now, the DHS Secretary nominee just this week said they would use them. That is a welcome surprise. But we need to see that in legislative text now. And let's talk about why it's important to have ICE follow the same basic use of force standards as our local police. If federal agents were following proper use of force, maybe families on the way back home from a basketball game wouldn't get tear gassed, and parents wouldn't have to bring their baby to the hospital when they stopped breathing. If federal agents were following proper use of force, maybe citizens like Miramar Martinez and Carlos Jimenez would never have been shot by federal agents. And maybe citizens like Ruben Ray Martinez, Renee Good, and Alex Preddy would still be alive. There is a reason we have been demanding Republicans work with us to rein in ICE and Border Patrol. Have Republicans looked around? They gave ICE and Border Patrol unprecedented sums of money, and then Donald Trump and Stephen Miller turned them into rogue agencies. Republicans don't want to talk about that. They don't want to even address that. But the American people have had enough of this rogue agency. We need to rein it in, and we are negotiating right now over how to do that. But it is clear it's going to take more time to get there. And we need the White House and we need Republicans to finally address these key reforms. But there's no reason to make TSA wait for their paychecks, absolutely none. Democrats are eager to break the logjam and fund agencies like the TSA and Coast Guard and FEMA and CISA. The offer to fund these while we keep negotiating stands. I'm even ready to make it happen on a temporary basis while we continue working on reforming ICE and Border Patrol if that's what's needed. But so far, Republicans have responded to that offer with the same message they're going to send today. Republicans are saying, no, we will not give you any TSA funding, none, unless you shove billions of dollars at an agency that we already gave billions of dollars to. No, they're saying, we will not let you send out TSA paychecks unless we can give a blank check to ICE, which is already sending out paychecks. Well, Madam President, let me be clear. We are not going to give Stephen Miller a blank check as this bill would do. I'm not going to stand by and let Republicans shovel more money at a rogue agency without real change in legislative text. Americans are demanding serious reforms, and we are putting our foot down. So I will be voting no, and I urge my colleagues to join me as well. Now, I will say we've had a productive meeting this week with the White House and some of our Republican colleagues, but Madam President, the basic challenges remain. The White House and Republicans need to work with us to address these key reforms, and to that end, my colleagues and I remain focused on the White House coming forward with a proposal that really addresses the major concerns I've outlined here today. Thank you, Madam President. I suggest the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsobrooks.
All right, so we just took a stop in Washington right there. You're looking at the Senate floor. We're listening to one of the senators from the state of Washington. We were talking about how Washington's been getting a lot of rain right now in the Seattle area and across the mountains there and on other sides, melting some snow. That was Patty Murray. She is, in terms of the Senate, the president pro tem of the Senate up until 2025, and she's still in the leadership on the Democratic side, and she was given her thoughts on some of the issues that have been talked about in the news over the last couple weeks and the last couple months. All right, well, that's a wrap from Washington. Coming up after the break, we want to bring the coverage right back here close to home. We'll talk with Chris O'Connell, and we'll tell you about what we're talking about right after this. We are Philadelphia Live. This is Fox Local Philadelphia, and we are live. Ooh, look at that traffic on the Vine Street Expressway here just after 1:15. Woo-wee, I'm glad I'm in the building and not in that, but I got to go fight that a little later on my way to Morris Arboretum for our 3:30 weather and science show right here on Fox Local Philadelphia. We're back in just a few. Oh, yeah, it is March, so we're looking at the arena. We're not thinking Sixers. Yeah, the Sixers are playing. You know, it was just Franklin's birthday last weekend. I'm talking the mascot. He celebrated his birthday at a home game last Saturday at 1 p.m. But you know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking about a little bit of March Madness. And I got to tell you, there's someone that I love when he covers Philadelphia sports. That be you, my friend, Chris O'Connell. We got you on the March Madness coverage today.
And Drew, what a gorgeous day we have in Center City, Philadelphia. I don't know what the temperature is. It doesn't matter because it is picture perfect, and picture perfect for the tens of thousands of people who are in town this weekend for March Madness. First and second rounds happening at the Xfinity Mobile Arena starting. The games are happening right now, but the fans are in from all over the country, 8 teams from all over the country, from Ohio, South Carolina, Virginia, and many of them are coming to the Philadelphia hotspots. They're not only spending their money, they're enjoying our town. And I caught up with a bunch of them today who are doing exactly what Philly tourism officials want you to do. Come in town, spend money, enjoy yourself, leave, and then spread the word about the city of Philadelphia. Let's actually maybe go into Reading Terminal Market. This is where a lot of them are, Drew. This is where, of course, anyone who comes to Philly, tourists, they're told to come here. And it is a madhouse. Here, yeah, take a walk. Just take a look at so many people in town. And Drew, I don't know if you know, there's another huge event going on this weekend. It's the Northeast qualifying for youth volleyball. Huge girls volleyball tournament going on across the street at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. and there are literally tens of thousands of volleyball fans, parents, and teams from all over the country, like 250 teams from all over the country. And this is 3 straight weekends of volleyball. So there's just a lot to do. Again, getting back to the March Madness, this is one of the first of what's going to be a huge summer of celebration here. We've dubbed it here at Fox 29. Of course, we got the March Madness. We got the FIFA World Cup. We have the city's the country's 250th birthday celebration right here where it all started. We have the PGA Championship. We have the MLB All-Star Game. Just a huge summer getting ready to kick off, and a lot of that started this weekend with March Madness. So a lot of people in town, and Drew, just picture perfect weather to welcome them into the city of brotherly love.
Oh yeah, we see those blue skies right behind you in the convention center. Pretty cool that all the volleyball folks are in town too. You never know what's going to be in Philadelphia. You never know what's at the convention center. I'll be walking by there. That's around the Chinatown area, and I'll see all these people, and it's like, oh, this is in town. That's in town. That's the fun of Philadelphia, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we always hear the big events like the home show, the auto show, but like this volleyball, look across the street. You have volleyball players. I mean, it is popping down here.
Yeah.
There's just so many people. There's just so many. This is a huge event. Once again, great for the city of Philadelphia because most of these people here are from out of town. They are here. They're getting the hotels and enjoying everything the city has to offer.
Yeah, and clearly they're getting lunch at the Reading Terminal Market. So, Chris, before I let you go,
which I'm going to do in a minute.
And then you're going to get a good lunch here because there's no wrong option. So I want to know, did you fill out a bracket? And if you did, who's going all the way?
I didn't do a bracket this year, Drew. The same thing happened to me. Same thing happened to me last year. I was invited to a bunch of them, and I just didn't get around to filling them out. If I did, I would have done AI. So no, I didn't participate this year.
Okay.
How about you? Who do you have?
I'm not a sports guy, so it'd be lost on me. I just would have randomly picked. I would have pick. And so I'll tell you what, Chris, I appreciate you. Thanks for taking a bit of your time. I love when you cover Philly sports, man. The passion you bring, that local enthusiasm, it's such good stuff. I'm going to run down a couple of things that are happening around the city in terms of March Madness. Appreciate you, Chris. Boy, he is always so much fun. So let's talk about our local connections. Man, it's great when we're in it. And we are so excited all for it. So I want to run down for a couple things. Here's what's happening in Philadelphia. And there was a reason why we were showing you the Xfinity Mobile Arena. That's the new name for the Wells Fargo Center, the Core State Center, the First Union Center. Do you remember all those over the years? Who else did I forget? I mean, we're getting BD before Drew on some of those. I was born in '88, so, you know, I'm only going to remember from the mid-'90s on. I remember when it was the Wachovia. You remember that one? That was a short-lived one. Well, anyway, so here's what we got. We have the 3rd seed, Virginia, taking on the 14th seed. Yeah, Wright State right there. So that's the game that's just about to tip off here in just a few minutes. And then we're also looking at the 6th seed, Tennessee, taking on Miami. That's a little bit later. And when we say Miami, we're not talking Florida. We're talking OH. Now, see, if you went to school at the Ohio State University, you would have answered me because you know how Penn State we do the we are? Penn State, you know, Jen Fred's got a son in school there, so she does we are. Penn State, I went to school there. In Ohio, you go OH, and then you're supposed to say back to me, IO. A little later this evening, we have the 7th seed, UCLA. Oh, they've been pretty good. Taking on the 10th seed, that's UCF. I don't know who that guy is, but I'll Google that one. Oh, UConn. I saw the Huskies bus in town yesterday. I saw it in the evening when I came into town. Those guys are from Connecticut, and they're taking on the 15th seed. Caitlin, get me up to date on some of this stuff. You're a little more skilled on this than I am.
Some of the stuff that is going on today with UConn, that is the University of Connecticut. Spoiler alert, my sister is going, and I'm very excited.
You know, Ryan, our producer of our evening news, he went to school there, so
yeah,
he's
there's a
rooting for
lot of good
UConn.
Huskies around.
That's why he wore that. You see, he had that on today when he came in.
So the 10 seed UCF is the University of Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They will be taking on UCLA.
All right, thanks for giving me who the UCF was.
Yes.
I didn't know those dudes.
Miami of Ohio actually won their first game in the first 4 to make it
Nice.
into the tournament.
Mhm.
So they are now playing Tennessee. And Furman is in South Carolina. So that's some of the info on the games that are happening today.
I was just thinking about going to South Carolina on a road trip. I have not been to Charleston in a minute, and I want to go check that out. And I also want to go check out, you ever been to Greenville? It's one of my favorite cities in the country. It is incredible. It's a great walking city, and it's so scenic. There's water through the middle of it.
I have not, but I should check it out.
Put it on your list. I'm telling you, anyone watching, Google Greenville. You'll see what I mean. I mean it when I say it's one of the most pretty cities in the country. All right, let's run down our local connections here with the teams that made the NCAA tournament.
Well, unfortunately, 2 of them are out.
Wah,
Lehigh
wah.
has lost.
But
They were
congratulations to getting in. It's
yes,
quite an honor, you know,
absolutely. It's a
Caitlin?
big honor to get into the
Mhm.
tournament in the first place. Penn had their game last night. They lost to Illinois, and Lehigh lost in the first 4, which is the 4 teams that play in the first round.
Hey, have you ever been up to Lehigh? It's a beautiful campus.
I have
It's
not,
kind of
but I
like
would
in the
like to
mountains
go.
a little bit. Now,
Yeah.
it's not technically mountains because we stay there for the Poconos, but you go, it's really high up. It's just outside of Bethlehem in the Lehigh Valley, and you overlook into the town, and the Lehigh campus is beautiful. If you ever get a chance, it's worth just doing a drive-by and checking out some of the sites because you're in one of the higher places in the
Mhm.
Lehigh Valley. But, all right, so Lehigh, Penn, had a little bump in the road, but I mean, what an honor. Because you
Yes.
remember last year, I don't think we really had a local connection.
We did not. So the Villanova's men's and women's teams will be playing tonight.
Nice.
So a lot of Villanova action happening. And
Nova
the
Nation.
women's Princeton team will be playing tomorrow. That is at 7:30. So that's our local teams that are in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and if you haven't been to the Princeton area, you ever get out to Princeton? Ever
I
get up
have
that way?
been to Princeton.
Do you ever go to that ice cream shop on Palmer Square, the big square in town? It's called it's not Burnt Spoon. It's
don't
not Broken
remember.
Spoon. It's Bent Spoon. I knew it was one of them. It was one of those B's. So it's called the Bent Spoon. It's one of those places where they just kind of come up with, I don't want to call them, I was going to call it goofy ice cream flavors. Let's call it unique ice cream flavors. So it's like one of those things you don't think of. I go there every time I'm around Princeton. What a beautiful area in Mercer County in our region. So best of luck to the women competing for Princeton, and what a beautiful school that is. So walk me through some of the highlights so far.
So far, this is day 2 coming up. Well, there's a
Mhm.
couple games in action right
Yeah.
now. But
Mhm.
some of the games for day 1, the 11 seed VCU beat 6 seed North Carolina.
Wow.
The local connection for that is that the coach for VCU is the son of former St. Joe's head coach Phil Martelli. So a
outta
little
here.
bit of a local Philly connection. So we got to celebrate VCU and their big win.
Yeah, we're going to root for them then, because anyone who has a
Absolutely.
local connection, that's the person to root for.
Another game that was a big highlight was the 12 seed High Point, which is a very small school in North Carolina, beat
know that school,
Wisconsin.
actually.
It was
yeah.
a very good game and very close, but in the end, they pulled off the upset.
By a point, you
By
see
a
that?
point, yeah.
By a point.
11 seed Texas beat 6 seed BYU, and
So
9
that's Brigham Young University out in Utah,
Yes,
right?
correct.
Okay.
And TCU, which is Texas Christian University, beat Ohio State 66-64.
TCU is kind of a big football school. I mean, it's not quite as big as
They've
the
got a
Longhorn
little
ones.
bit big of a basketball school as well.
Oh,
They're pretty big in both sports. So
Well,
that is
Caitlin-
kind of some of the highlights of March Madness so far.
I didn't know you were so into basketball.
I am.
So Caitlin's our producer right here of Philadelphia Live. She makes everything happen, makes all the decisions, does all the pre-interviews, and puts it all the pieces together. Emmy Award winner, I might add. Just dropping it out there. And also a basketball expert when it comes to the colleges.
Big sports fan over here.
Well, I'm glad you're here to lift me up because I don't know a thing about sports, so we're a team.
Well, we're a team and we're in it together.
You want to toss it to break? I mean, it's
Oh,
your
yeah,
show.
let's head to a break. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Thank you, Caitlin. We were talking about pretty towns like, say, Greenville in South Carolina. You know what's a pretty town? Georgetown, right here in Delaware. And you're looking in Sussex County at Georgetown, and what a pretty downtown it is. That's one of the communities I've not gotten to. I've been so close. I've gone to, oh, there's a famous beer. Oh, they have their brewery down there. Let me see if I can remember off the top of my head. Anyone a beer drinker in here? Who's the famous Delaware beer? It's not like something like Shovelhook. Oh, I got no help in here. I got no help in here. Who is the name of it? Well, if you know, you know, you know. So there's a famous beer.
Maybe somebody on TikTok knows.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're streaming live on the socials. Jake, you a beer drinker? Yeah. All right. So do we figure it out who it is? It's something like Shovelhook or Fishhook or. It's Dogfish. It's Dogfish. There you go. It's dog. Thank you, Jake. So not too far down the road from Georgetown is Dogfish. You can go to their brewery. It's a free tour. You get free beer at the end of it if you want to check out Dogfish. And they're known for their IPA, which are the really hoppy beers right there. Well, we got thinking about Delaware for a couple reasons. I go down to Delaware to get my gas. I live in Westchester. I'm a 20-minute drive to Wilmington. And you know how much money that saves me going across the state line? 30 cents a gallon. And that's before the gas prices even went up. I save 30 cents a gallon by going to Delaware because there's less state gas tax in Delaware than there is in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has one of the highest gas taxes in the nation, which means, say like the cost for the roads, to repair roads and stuff, it's built into the price of gas. So that way the folks that are using the roads are paying more for the roads versus, say, other people that may not commute, may not have a car, maybe they live in a city or something like that. So that's the philosophy of a gas tax. Well, with that all in mind, gas is going up. Gas has gone up $1 in the last couple weeks. I filled up my gas tank 2 weeks ago. It was 40 bucks, just did it in Delaware, $60, and that was the cheaper gas. So I go to Newcastle County, and you can see the average compliments of AAA. They're calling it at $3.75. I had to gas up because I was like on low, like I could not dip below. Pop me up for a second. I was doing the limbo. That's how low my gas tank was right there when I was kind of driving. It's a long story, but I took my class to go see the movie that we were talking about earlier last hour, and that's to say I needed to build a little time. I should have my car gassed up. Well, anyway, when I gassed it up in Pennsylvania, it was $3.99, so about 25 cents more expensive. We're looking at Pennsylvania right now. I live out in Chester County. The average right there, $3.93. I was in Montco. Caitlin, can you slide that up to Montco? Yeah, about a penny more right there. I'm curious. Philly. You know, I do find some cheap gas stations in Philly. So they're saying the average is $3.96, but you'd be surprised. You'd think it'd be costing a lot more in the city, but if you look at, say, on Google Maps, you put in gas in Philly, there's actually a couple cheap gas stations. And just giving you a feel of what's around southeastern Philadelphia, I'm curious, what's going on in New Jersey? So we saw that it's close to about $4 in Pennsylvania. Okay, a little cheaper in New Jersey. Remember back in the day, like in the 90s, how much cheaper Jersey was? We'd go across the bridge in Pennsylvania to get our cheap gas. Now I got to go down to Delaware. So Cumberland County, they average about $3.82 or so. Take you down the shore to Cape May, which is about $3.93. Go back to Salem County. I want to see that blue one. Hey, Salem County, same price as Delaware right there. So that's actually good to know that if you're New Jersey, if you drive a little extra to Salem County, which is, by the way, downtown Salem is beautiful. Where the courthouse is, that's a great and historic downtown in Salem County, New Jersey. Let's see who the cheapest is. Traditionally, it's in the center of the country, like the Dakotas. I find they're very cheap, and Oklahoma is usually the cheapest. So we go to Nebraska first, and we're seeing that the average about $3.38. I keep moving north here. I'm just curious. $3.36, $3.36. Take me down to Oklahoma, right above Texas. Oklahoma is usually the cheapest for gas. Okay, $3.25. That might be our winner right there. Do we dare look at California? I want to know, how bad is it? Guys, that's the average, okay? That is the average. Let's look at that damage one more time. Let's make us feel good, okay? Our gas is $4. California, $5.65 as the average. You know what that means? LA, some places are going to be around $6. Wow. You can get a feel of some of the different gas prices. So we're all in this one together. And we'll see what happens in the coming weeks, in the coming months with gas prices. Really surprised me how quickly they jumped up in a matter of 2 weeks. It basically jumped up $1. So needless to say, I'm not doing a road trip here anytime soon. I'll be limiting my trips. AAA gives advice. They say rather than make multiple trips a day, you want to plan your route with efficiency. You want to plan out what you want to do and just go bing, boom, boom, and just go right on down the line, to quote that classic rock song. I'm a rusty on classic rock. Was it George Strait who sang that song, Right On Down the Line? Jake, hook me up. Google that one. Google Right On Down the Line lyrics. Someone at home I can hear screaming right now. I'm channeling Andre Gardner from Philadelphia's classic rock 102.9 MGK. I was a big fan of him growing up. When I was in high school, he would put me on air to do the weather. He knew I was interested. He was interested in the weather. They would do live broadcast, and he would put me on and let me do the weather, and even did that through college. So big fan of Andre Gardner. He's retired, but if you ever listen to classic rock in town, you know the name Andre Gardner, and he's come on my show, Fox Weather Philly, before. Was it George Strait Right On Down the Line?
It was Jerry Rafferty.
He was. George Strait's a country singer. Jerry Rafferty. Can we find out what else Jerry Rafferty sings? Is he a one-hit wonder? Oh, I'm really showing my age on this one. Because I can hear the song in my head, that Right On Down the Line. It's a kind of a smooth, sort of, very kind of peaceful song. Oh, I got to remember Jerry Rafferty. What are his hits? What's else popping up?
Baker Street.
Oh, he sang Baker Street?
Yeah, Days Gone Down.
You know,
Stuck in the Middle with You.
He did Stuck in the Middle with You. I'm sorry I called him a one-hit wonder. I'm sorry. So Stuck in the Middle with You, great song. Baker Street, I think they've played around with that on The Simpsons. I remember in the 1990s, like one of the episodes of The Simpsons, it was like a big thing where they were playing that song. Wow. Okay. Appreciate it, Jake. All right. He's keeping me in line just off camera. Also one of our producers of Philadelphia Live right here. And I got to tell you, we're hurting at the gas pump. I like AAA's advice to kind of just, go one spot to another rather than make multiple trips. And we'll get through it. Gas has been high before. It'll go down and it'll get high again. I do want to talk about transportation in a different way. Let's talk about TSA. Hey, there's still an issue with the budget. Remember how we talked about, we're going to take a live look here in Atlanta at TSA. You can see some of the lines. Now, we're getting mixed reports here. You hear stories that there's been TSA call-outs and things like that, and there's been a lack of funding because there is a partial government shutdown. It is affecting TSA. Now, I will tell you, some friends have traveled recently and they've had smooth sailing. Leaving Philadelphia this week, my buddy just left Detroit. He said no issue whatsoever. Now, Atlanta, it's my understanding, is the busiest airport in the country. Yeah, you'd think it'd be New York City. I go out of New York City and JFK all the time, but apparently it's Atlanta. A lot of traffic, things like that, flights going through. Maybe it's not, maybe not in terms of the amount of passengers, but maybe about the planes coming and going. It's a big hub for Delta. So you get a feel at TSA, and man, have I been close on cutting it to a flight from long TSA lines. One time, I failed the TSA line. So they had a dog, and a dog came up and started sniffing me, and I thought, oh no, this is not good. They took me out of the TSA line. The manager of TSA had to come down. They didn't strip search me, but they did strip search my bag. And they gave me the deluxe search. I had everything you can imagine patted down. So I had the full pat down, back at the hand, everywhere. They even gave me a foot massage. They wanted to massage my feet. They wanted me to take my shoes off. They wanted to see if there was anything in my socks. That's why they gave, I'm joking when they say the foot massage. They just did one of those to check. So I don't know what the dog sniffed because I didn't have any food or anything, but oh man. And you know what, it was cool. The manager said to me, I said, I don't know if I'm gonna make on a flight because of this. She said, you're going to make your flight, don't worry. She made a phone call. It was interesting. That plane should have left. I think they're waiting for me. She took care of me that day. Appreciate her that day. I got to go down to the islands. And we are coming right back, right here on Fox Local Philadelphia. This is Philadelphia Live. If we could play music, we'd be playing a little Elton John right now. You'd be hearing the song Rocket Man. Why? I'm taking you live right now. In this 1 p.m. hour, we are looking where we launch rockets in Florida. So this is the Cape Canaveral area. Titusville is actually the name of the community, and this is NASA. And they have the largest vehicle assembly building. That's basically the name for the building where they assemble rockets. It's like 17 stories, and the NASA scientists one time, when I went down, they were telling me a story. You see the water there? It's Florida. They have gators. A gator walked in to where the scientists were working. When we were there watching a rocket launch one time, they're like, hey, just keep an eye on the shoreline. And I thought they were just saying, you know, they wanted us to stay back, all that kind of deal, because the rocket was like 3 miles away. No, they were being serious. They were like, just, no, for real, we'll keep an eye out for gators. It's a real thing here. I was like, ah, okay. Well, you see a rocket, there's been a lot of rocket launches recently, you know, sending things up in the air like some of our satellite communications, or a lot more times. It's Starlink, you know, that internet. And there's been a lot of SpaceX launches. There was just one recently, and we can even see them in our skies. If you ever see something that looks like a ghost in your sky, that is actually one of those, a rocket launch from Florida. And if it's kind of the right time of the day, a little bit before sunrise, a little bit before sunset, you can see what looks like a ghost. So you can see a rocket right there ready to go. And what's really cool, what you can't see from the picture because it's so tiny, is that rocket, when it launches, is going through a spider web. And I'm not joking about this. There is a spider web of cables. You know why? Lightning rods. You see those tips around the rocket? There's these big white cones, or we'll just call them pillars. Those are lightning rods. Florida is the lightning capital of the United States. They get a lot of afternoon thunderstorms. Well, that is a lot of money. They don't want lightning striking the rocket. They want to hit the lightning rods and those white parts, and then it goes through the cables and goes down. So there's actually like a hexagonal pattern, and that the rocket goes right up through it when it launches off, just in case of lightning. And that's why they fill it up with fuel last minute, because you know, you don't want something getting hit with lightning, but it's got fuel in it. We got talking about that because there is a space movie that got released. There's a brand new movie with Ryan Gosling. It's called Project Hail Mary, and I took my class. I also work for Penn State. I teach in person at Penn State Brandywine. I teach online for Penn State Abington. And what happens is in Philadelphia, they have advanced movie screenings for free because they want to get word of mouth from movies. And the company that does it invited me and my class, because I teach a natural disasters movie class. We watch things like space movies, tornado movies, and talk about the science. Was it good? Was it bad? So we got to do this earlier this week. There's some of my folks from my class, and I thought, should we get a review of the movie from my students? And they were telling me they're being real. They weren't just saying nice things for the camera. Take a listen on what they think of the movie Project Hail Mary. Check this out. We just got to see Project Hail Mary. I took some of my class. It was a class field trip. We got Penn State Brandywine in the house. So guys, you just got to see the movie. And by the way, thanks to the movie company for letting us see it a couple days before it came out. What do we think? Can I get some reviews?
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Wait, you guys aren't just saying that because the camera's on and we got a free movie.
It was a good, feel-good movie. You'll leave it just feeling good. A few nail-biter moments, but it's 100% worth it.
All right, Tim, what'd you think?
Surprisingly emotional. I almost cried like twice.
There was a tearjerker moment.
I did not expect, like, especially going into it, like seeing the imagery of like what they said the movie was going to be like. Did not expect it. It's completely different than I thought it was, but it was great.
All right, what do we think over here?
I think it was really good. Way too emotional though. If you're a crier, definitely this is definitely your movie for sure.
What about you guys?
Amazing.
You guys were quoting the movie when you came out.
Yeah, we didn't know how good it was going to be, and then it just turned out to be so awesome. I loved it. So good. Yeah.
I'm with you. I thought it was the best space movie since Interstellar and The Martian. So there you go. That's a review for me and the Penn State students. And there you go. Coming out this weekend, comes out Project Hail Mary. So I had about 25 students. I got to tell you, every single one I talked to loved the movie. And I got to admit, there's a little bit of a tearjerker, but not in the way you think. It was emotional. And if you ever saw the movie Interstellar, that's my favorite movie of last decade. I feel like I pick a movie each decade that's my favorite movie. Prior to that, it was No Country for Old Men. Last decade, it was Interstellar. I love the music score. They have a lot of organ. There's a lot of air. And the movie was about Earth losing air. That was Interstellar. And that movie just did a lot with the music. It did a lot with emotions. It did a lot about relationships. I got those emotional vibes from the movie Project Hail Mary. In terms of the plot, It's more like the movie The Martian, where Matt Damon was stuck on Mars. Well, now it's kind of Ryan Gosling doing the same thing, but not Mars, instead in a spaceship. And there's also vibes of Castaway. Remember that movie from the 1990s with Tom Hanks and Wilson, the volleyball? We're replacing the volleyball with something else. So it's worth your money. It's 2.5 hours. You're going to get good value. And we talked about this earlier. We got a Philly connection in the movie. Ryan Gosling wears this shirt, and it's really cool. We have covered an artist by the name of Perry Shaw here on our shows on the 215. And look at this album cover right there. We've also had it on my weekend show right here on Fox Local Philadelphia. It's called Talking Up a Storm. We do it Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. He told me about this. And in the original trailer for the movie, I'll show you this. This album cover we were just looking at on the internet, it is in the movie on a t-shirt. Let's take a closer look at the album cover from Perry's website. And what he does is, he's an artist, but he designs covers for music. And I'm talking like the album covers. And this is a band. And scroll down a little bit. The name is called Blood Milk. Wait for it. Wait for it. The last part of it is Moon. And yes, what is this? A space movie. So here's how this all came about. The makeup artist for Ryan Gosling on the movie Project Hail Mary just so happens to be a fan of Perry Shaw. Just likes his work. He's designed album covers for Green Day. He has a unique style. We saw that on the website. If you want to pull back maybe the other website and where it kind of had more of his work, he has a unique style. It's kind of retro is the vibe that we have from him. And in the movie, Ryan Gosling wears retro sort of shirts. So they got talking, and she probably said, oh yeah, I love this artist. He has retro stuff. They're probably talking how my character wears retro things. Ryan Gosling looks at the website, the same website right here that we're looking at. He goes right to Perry Shaw's website, and he starts looking through the different album covers. Oh, he's very good friends, by the way, with Guilford Godfrey, he was telling me. He had the Black Keys, that's a well-known band. And he sees that one band, and he goes, that's perfect. So here's what happens. The movie reaches out to the band, and they say, hey, can we put your album cover on a t-shirt and have Ryan Gosling wear it in a movie? You know what the band said? Yeah, of course. And he's in this for a while. So we have a local Philadelphia connection to the movie Project Hail Mary. So if you go see the movie, watch for this. Or you can check it out in the trailer, but it's the original trailer. And I just think that's such a cool story. And one person knows one person, the movie star kind of looks through. He has a little bit of control of his character and what to wear. And it's just a neat little connection to localize a Hollywood movie to right here at home. So we go from one t-shirt to another t-shirt. I got a classic. You know, Perry loves collecting t-shirts. He told me he has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of t-shirts, including a t-shirt of when Mike Jarrett had a national talk show. So our morning Mike, he had his own talk show. It was called Mike and Juliet. I think it was like 2007, 2008. It was across the country. Perry has one of the t-shirts, so he just loves collecting t-shirts. Well, I collected this from when I was a kid. We got the old school Fox Philadelphia logo. I mean, you can see it, but I'm going to even bring it a little closer just because I can. And that was the old logo back in the day. And how good does that look? Well, you know what this t-shirt was about? Something that has a birthday coming up on April 1st, celebrating 30 years. Right here, the original, if you've been it, with Good Day since April 1st, 1996. And guess who has? Me, Peekaboo. I remember when we ran ads for Good Day Philadelphia. As a kid, I watched Fox all the time. I was watching the cartoon Saturday morning. And so I remember the ads, and the show was starting April Fool's Day. And as a kid, I thought, oh, this is a joke. Oh, it's no joke. Good Day, celebrating 30 years, and I still have the t-shirt because Good Day would go back on the road back in the day. And I got this as a kid because I grew up in the area. And I got to be on Good Day and help do the weather with the meteorologist that was here before Sue Sario, a guy by the name of Jim Castillo. And that's why I got into the weather. And so when I was in 3rd grade, I'm doing the weather right here on Fox 29 and Fox Local Philadelphia as a little kid with the morning guy on Good Day. And guess who does the weather weekends on Good Day Philadelphia? Peekaboo, that'd be this guy. So glad to have you with us right here live on Fox Local Philadelphia. We'll be back right after this. Hey, so good to have you with it. Man, it has been so much fun hanging out for Jen Fred. I love what Jen does with the show. She's so great at hosting this show. So, Jen, thanks for letting me step in for the day. I was just setting up my live gear here. I'm going to be walking over to the Liberty Bell here in a minute, and I'll be talking to Fox Weather. We had Bain on earlier with us in the 12 o'clock hour. I'm going to be talking about our weekend weather with Fox Weather right in front of the Liberty Bell. I got the mic, and I'm going to be walking to some of the tourists. I'm going to be saying here, hey, what brought you out today to the Liberty Bell? How you feeling about the weather? So I'm looking forward to that at 2:15 on Fox Weather. That's our national weather channel that you can watch right here on Fox Local Philadelphia on your smart TV app, on your cell phone tap. And it's also at fox29.com. Just click on weather. There's always a live feed of that 24/7 weather channel with live meteorologists. Let's take you live now down the shore to Wildwood. Hey, we love those Wildwood days. It's the first day of spring. It's officially spring. It happened this morning. You know what that means? Those rides will be going real soon here. Summer, it's right around the corner, right? It is so close. The nights are longer. I'm just loving it. And what a beautiful day we have. It is feeling warm in the sun, but there's a catch. Can I show you the big weather map? I'll show you what the catch is. Yeah. You see what's lurking out there in the Midwest? That would be a cold front. That cold front's going to bring some rain, but that's later today. It is at dinner time. So if you have dinner plans, I want you to plan for rain because it will rain. If you're sipping out the dinner in the city, if you're sipping out the dinner in the burbs, you will get some rain as you're heading in or as you're heading out, or if you're unlucky, both times. Keep that in mind, even though it looks so beautiful now. That cold front will bring in some cooler weather. It was cold this morning. Trust me on that one. I got my winter coat. Look, my winter coat's just right here. I was like, I wanted to dress for spring today. I had my light coat ready to go, and I had to do some live reports for Good Day Philadelphia outside. I'm like, no, I need the winter coat. I don't need the winter coat right now. I'm going to switch it for my light spring coat when I go for Fox Weather. And here's what I'm thinking as we plan ahead. I want to take a look at the rain hour by hour. So let's take you to dinner time. There's 5 o'clock, starting to move into parts of our area. 6 o'clock, not in Philly, but it is by 7 o'clock. And now it's in Jersey and Delaware as we roll through after dinner time. And then finally, it's off the coast of Wildwood. It's off the coast of the Jersey Shore, a couple hours after sunset. Remember, sunset's later these days. I'm loving that it's right around 7 o'clock, a little bit after 7 o'clock to be exact. And that gives you a feel. It'll soak the ground. It'll help the grass grow. I noticed my grass is finally green again. Those 80-degree days we had the other week really helped with that. Just like that, the grass got green. And those spring showers, I can say that now, will certainly help with that. So a little cooler tomorrow on the backside of that. Also sunny because cold fronts bring in dry air. So it's a full sunny day on Saturday. Just a little cooler, right around 60. Yeah, you might want the thicker coat on Saturday, but not on Sunday. Love seeing that temperature in the 70s. It looks so good. It looks so inviting, right? Now, we start out sunny on Sunday, but then the clouds start moving in, and eventually we get some rain Sunday night, and it will stick around for part of Monday morning when folks go back to school. You know, the Philadelphia schools are closed today. I wouldn't be surprised if they're closed for Eid. Maybe technically it's an in-service, something like that. And some other schools are closed around the region, so a long weekend for some students. And we're looking forward to the week ahead next week because slowly but surely we're warming things up, and we're starting to see more buds on the trees. There is some budding trees at Morris or